So we talked about a major discovery in the United States, $1.5 trillion estimate of lithium in the United States, as well a deal struck. And it seems like it's going quite smoothly and moving forward and hopefully acting quite swiftly. I know the RFP is being chosen that's going to act the quickest in Ukraine with the United States. I did an episode recently on how Canada can win the trade war with the United States. And one of the things that included in that is just economic prosperity. Critical minerals is a huge leverage point that Canada has. I'm curious to know, what do you gentlemen think, and Peter, we'll start with you, about the maybe does this create some sort of lack of competitiveness with this new discovery and all these deals that the United States is striking with other countries that Canada might not be able to fulfill the needs of the United States because they could find them elsewhere?
Canada will always have good minerals, will always have good miners. I met with a country earlier today, can't tell you which one, who's looking to entice Canadian miners to go to that country. And to entice you to go, they'll give you 2 million USD just for showing up. Canada has the best miners in the world, and that will always be our competitive advantage.
Why is that, Tony? From a legalities perspective, is it that we treat our miners really well and they enjoy their job, or like, what is it?
Well, we've got something called the rule of law, and sadly, democracies are in the minority around the planet, and you do attract solid financial investment into really all jurisdictions in Canada that have got critical minerals. I don't think PPI might be the only one that doesn't. I stand to be corrected there, Peter. But in terms of the rule of law, in terms of ESG, in terms of doing things right, we've got the reputation, and we're leveraging that in spades now going forward.
So and we have very good schools. We teach our metallurgists well. We teach our mining engineers well. Our geologists are well schooled. We have a great education system.
Well, listen, education is one of the reasons a country loses or gains GDP over the course of 30, 40, 50 years. I could not agree more with that. It pushes innovation and drives GDP growth heavily and productivity as well. One of the things Peter and Tony, both of you had talked about off camera that I need to dig in more is this idea of stockpiling minerals. Peter, you brought it up even on camera with China stockpiling critical minerals. What is this idea? Can you just explain it like I'm 12?
Sure. I like jelly beans, so I'm going to go to every store in town and buy every bag of jelly beans so nobody else can have any.
That is the best explanation.
Right? So I've artificially distorted the price for jelly beans because there are none left and people are willing to pay more to get them. Conversely, once I stop liking jelly beans and I start selling them from my house, price for jelly beans will drop because I'll be flooding the market with jelly beans. And that's the problem with mineral stockpiles.
But can I ask a question? So is that a huge concern right now? Because, I mean, it does seem like the United States is trying to move really quickly. I'd like to think that Canada can move quickly, but at least you're saying, on the absolute best possible day, we're 3-4 years out. 3-4 years, is that a big ploy to say China's going to take advantage of those 3-4 years, especially in these trade negotiations? Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. China goes for the bottom line, as we all do. And if there's an advantage that China can move forward on, it will definitely do that. Trump has been very tough on China in quotes. At least there's been a lot of talk. But in terms of where we're going, and I just want to touch on Peter's comment here of the jelly bean comment, which I think is fantastic. There's another thing that arises, and that is substitution, where you start getting other elements substituting for the original element that you've been stockpiling. And we're seeing a lot of innovation and a lot of research. As Peter said, in terms of our metallurgists and our engineers, you're going to see a lot of inventions being patented and coming forward and being commercialized. You'll see a lot of capital being poured into that, I think, in Canada and the US and in the EU.
Interesting.
There's some really good technology that shows that lithium will be dead within 10 years as a battery mineral, and that long flake graphite is probably dead, and China has put that to bed with new technology.
Oh my God, so sorry, hold on a second. That's a big pause moment. So I didn't even think about that. Investors are looking at it and saying, well, why would I invest in lithium reserves if it's not going to be something that's used for the next 40 years or 30 years?
The clock's running, so I'll fill you in.
Correct.
Big mining show this year. 30,000 people show up to this every year. And there were presentations given by scientific teams saying, we've beaten lithium. We don't need lithium. Why are you dum-dums mining lithium? Put your money somewhere else.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I learned something
And
new with you guys
we're
every time.
seeing the same thing in the rare earth element space. Exactly. There are some novel technologies which are hitting the markets now, significant investments in the hundreds of millions of dollars in the US, realizing we don't want to be hung out to dry on rare earths.
Okay, that's a bold statement, and I need to dig into that more. But we only have 5 seconds left here before we jump into the last segment.
Technological obsolescence.
I love it,
Yeah.
Peter. Thank you. We'll see you guys right back in our last segment. Here we go. Stay tuned.